Yo, yo, yo. What a day, man. Kitty was late, bro. Kitty was late. Oh, man. Uh, okay. So, welcome to TWE Charts. Guys, AMC is down 15%. GME is down 40%. And it's an ugly Friday, but, there's a but. All right, and this is the but, man, is the AMC tracking. What is happening with the algorithm? Why are we coming down? What about these levels and everything that we have been talking about? Like, what is going on, right? Well, first of all, after the accumulation, triple top accumulation setup here, double bottom on AMC, we did create the projector. The ranges that you're seeing here, highlights and everything, are based on the reference patterns that we tracked, right? They're a combination of those reference patterns. A lot of them were calling for $6, a lot of them were calling for $8, and then some on the advancing stage were calling for 12, 8, and 14. So this is just a combination of that, but I want to talk about the algorithm here and what I am expecting to happen next. But before I do that, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, you know the drill, support the channel. That's how we do it, all right? Okay, so for those that are new to the channel, I'm going to be introducing something here. This is a cycle, an AMC cycle. Most of you are familiar with the way this works. But in the approach that I take here, we track a 62-day cycle on AMC. Been tracking this cycle ever since June of 2021. Okay, the cycle comes from June of 2021. It's the AMC arc. And basically the way this works is, well, there is a high correlation with AMC running inside a 13-day window. This 13-day window is called a POI. It's a volatility zone, and we track it every 62 days on AMC. Now, from my understanding of the way that, well, I know the cycle here, it has shifted according to the algorithms, okay? Because prior to this cycle, we did have the POI in April 22nd. This range here was the window, but now it's shifted on over for about 3 weeks. So this is the thing with the cycle, guys. Ever since we had the first major error in the cycle, which got shut down, ever since this happened here, the algorithm has been out of whack a little bit. And this is why I think the cycle has shifted on over. And now we're tracking this other cycle here, which is still the same length, but we are now tracking about a month ahead of the cycle. So let me show you guys something here. And this is kind of the way the cycle works. But on the volatility zone, which we clearly experienced here on May 14th was the peak, we have the run-up, okay, and then we have a consolidation period. That's in blue. Now, the consolidation period, typically known as the Theta channel period, also lasts quite a bit. It's the longest phase in the cycle. You can see it on the arc here. The red portion is typically what establishes direction, macro direction, which in this case, and a lot of the times, you're going to see these patterns replicate themselves on the chart. Like AMC loves to kind of go back and just repeat these, different versions of the patterns, whether they're inverse or whether they are identical. Now, watch this. All right, so we have the run-up, consolidation period, and then what happens here? If we take this and we flip it, right, because this is establishing direction, whether the price is going to go down or it's going to go up, going into the next POI, well, what do we have? We have a match. We have the same setup here. It calls for upside, comes back down, and what does it create, guys? A projector pattern. A projector pattern is what happens before every major run-up. We've seen this happen every single time before AMC runs in some form of way. Okay, on this one, the projector was a lot more leveled, right? Kind of comes down a little bit, creates the flag, it's bigger, and then it starts running. But here is the thing. If you take the cycle, all right, this is the new cycle. We're going to go back to the old cycle for a little bit here. And we're going to talk about the old cycle. This is the old cycle. Hello, hello. All right. From May 13th to July 15th, that is one cycle. It runs every 62 days. How many different times have we seen the projector, or at least a failed projector, inside the cycle? There's multiple versions of this, guys. The way this pattern plays out, and you can clearly see it on some of these sections here, but in the red portion, you see that projector play out. Okay, we have it right here. Okay, and then in some of the other cycles, we do have the projector play out a little bit earlier. Another one that catches my eye a little bit, and also I think we're playing a version of this, is the cycle back in January of 2021. Okay, the projector is right here. You see the same thing. We have the triple bottom setup we just talked about, and then this entire section here is basically sped up on AMC right now. It looks like this. All right, and then it comes down, goes back up. So it's sped up. We'll get to that in another video in what I think the algorithm is going to be doing on the macro charts. I am still going to cover the quad witching projection here that I have for you guys. But pretty much what this means for the chart now, understanding where we are in the cycle, is that the likelihood of AMC turning around here is pretty great. I mean, with the correlation. And this brings us on to the next POI, the next point of interest, which is in end of June going into July, okay, another 13-day window. And what's going to happen here, right? Because typically, and this is the way algorithms work, but whenever the price goes up, it goes up a lot quicker than when the price comes down. So in this macro direction shift here, because we just experienced a volatility zone, a pretty hefty volatility zone, it's unlikely that we would experience another hefty volatility zone to the downside, though, right? Like we wouldn't just fall down or anything crazy like that. So what I think is going to happen here is I think that when we start turning around, which should happen sometime next week, this entire portion here, because it is a short, will be sped up, right? These guys want to make sure that if the price is going to come down, if the algorithm is truly going to do this, if it's going to go up, they're going to do it as quickly as possible so nobody can get in. And once we start, triggering some of these levels, we talked about the $8, potentially the $12 range, that is where we get into this next territory here of like what AMC is going to do. This can go both ways. Volatility zones have a good correlation of going either up or down very quickly, right? And now we're clearly starting to see that happening now. And when we come to this next quad witching date here, which would give us the macro trajectory, right? This is the quad, and then this is going to be the standard options. So as long as this range here is between $12 and $8, maybe even $6, right? The trajectory is still going to be pointing up, which is very, very bullish for AMC. Okay, typically quad witching trajectories do give us a good projection of what the macro is going to do and how these guys are going to, distribute this volume. Okay. Okay, so here is the projection, right? It still holds. So on this projector here, all we need the price to do is flip. All we need is the price to start heading back up to 7, potentially next week. Heading on over here, maybe doing something like that. Now, when this quad witching date hits, what happens in the cycle here? Well, now we have a POI. You can see here that the price does come down on the POI on my projection based on some of the other stocks that I track, the year-long cycles. This is very important, guys, because typically in the markets with meme stocks, the way that I've seen it happen before in 2021 is you experience some POIs back to back very quickly. So there's been a lot of volatility right now on AMC and GameStop. The volatility is meant to dry out at some point. So this is where we experience Theta. Theta is a huge, it's a huge tool that hedge funds will use. Like the option chain is a tool, obviously, as we know, to control the price action or leverage their positions to be able to move it however they want. But they focus a lot on Theta, and that's what a lot of people I think don't talk about is the Theta channels are the worst because you get up to a range, people are bearish and bullish, and then the price just remains pretty much flat the entire time. So this is just my projection, but I think that it's possible that we start to trade sideways in this range. Now, I'm not going to say AMC would go lower than where it's trading at because I don't think that's going to happen. But I do see it trading sideways for quite some time, and this is why I just posted on X. I was like, dude, tracking AMC in the coming months and towards the end of the year is going to be fun because this would establish a bullish macro trajectory. And from what we have seen before, when the trajectory changes, guys, what happens? You go back to January 2021. This entire time here, right, just choppy back and forth. But if you take a look at what some of these other markets have done, right, the crypto markets, for example, they started back in October of last year. They went up, they traded sideways, accumulated, and then they went up even higher. And that is what we're seeing right now with the meme stock. It's the same thing. Think of the markets, guys, right now. The markets are trading at the highest levels that they have seen, right? The SPY is at highest, all-time highs right now. It's likely going to be trading in there for quite some time. It's going to be choppy back and forth. That gives the green light to these overly shorted stocks to start pumping and going up. So that's why things are exciting, man. Things are looking good. I'm excited. And this is a process, right, where we check things off as they happen. So as they come, we check things off. It's not about, my projections and everything that I have. There's going to be right ones. There's going to be wrong ones. My goal is to have obviously more right ones than wrong. But that's why we track the cycle, because of the correlation that it has, positive correlation that it has. And yeah, guys, go check out some of the other videos if you're new to the channel. I explain the cycle in the form of a song. Go check that out. I posted that in 2021. It's pretty dope. Check it out. The old videos talk about the cycle a little bit, makes a little bit more sense. Some of them talk about the projectors and just this whole thing of how hedge funds do this. But yeah, if you want more info, we track other stocks in the market. Right now, there's a lot of opportunity, in my opinion, with other stocks as well because of what happened with AMC and GameStop. So if you want more of that info, we go over that on the Discord and plenty of other things as well that we track. So check that out. Link below. Also, if you guys do want to check out the Discord, now I have a new way to support the channel. You guys can contribute whatever you want, man. Go ahead and click the link below, and you guys can join right away. All right? We'll see you on the next stream. Remember, like, subscribe. Peace out, guys.